where I report on movies that I feel are worth watching. Today's episode, we're going to be discussing Dungeons & Dragons: Honor Among Thieves. That stars Chris Pine, Michelle Rodriguez, Hugh Grant, Sophia Lillis, and Justice Smith. It's rated PG-13 for fantasy violence and some small amount of profanity. Okay, I got to say that I love this movie. Of course, you can see my gaming dice shirt I'm wearing specifically for this review. I've been playing Dungeons & Dragons for 41 years. And so for me, this was a pleasure to review and to watch. So let's get on with it. The basic story is that Elgin, who's played by Chris Pine, he's supposedly a bard. He, once upon a time, was married. They had a daughter. His wife died. During that time, he was what's known as a Harper, and that's a secret organization that kind of keeps an eye on political factions and keeps all the evil factions in check. So they're an honorable group. He used to be part of that, but then his wife was murdered, and he didn't know how to make a living and take care of the daughter, so he resorted to thievery. And then his friend, Holga, played by Michelle Rodriguez. Sorry about that. Yeah, so she's a barbarian. All right. So they kind of raised this daughter together, but they became thieves in order to do so. And they were successful thieves, and they've done well for themselves. However, the daughter's kind of like, I'd like you to stop. Let's go legit. And Elgin decides that he's going to do one more job because he wants to get an artifact, the Tablet of Reawakening. Sorry about that. Yeah, so the Tablet of Reawakening, that will bring his wife back, and then she'll be reunited with the family, and everything will be good. So this is about that last adventure, supposedly, that's going to allow that to happen. But they get betrayed by Hugh Grant's character, which is Forge, and a powerful sorceress that Forge had brought along for the group. So the rest of it is about them getting the Tablet of Reawakening back and having to fight against Forge and his wicked, evil sorceress ally. All right, so great storyline. I really, really enjoyed it. Yeah, fabulous. I mean, I couldn't be happier. People that are fans of Dungeons & Dragons for years have been waiting for a movie to come out that would represent the game in a good way. All the other D&D movies have been pretty bad. But this one was the first one that was really good. All right, so let's talk about the points that I feel that make it worth watching. Number one, great acting. Everyone in it did a great job on their roles. I enjoyed everyone's role. Now, granted, some of those roles are bad, evil people, and they did a tremendous job on those bad and evil people. I'd say even the minor characters that you hardly have any lines for, you barely see them, they did a great job as well. Okay, so point number two, good writing. The story moves forward at a good pace. It unravels. And it finishes up in a satisfying and logical way. So excellent storytelling here. And the third is that the story has a strong underlying theme of family. I mean, because it's based on Elgin and Holga, I'm going to get that name wrong, and the barbarian trying to retrieve and get the daughter back, because actually they were in jail for a couple of years for the last botched robbery. So they want the family back together, and they're working towards that. Some very lovely themes there. I truly enjoyed it. Okay, and fourth, and for me, the best was that it felt like a game of D&D. So like I said, I've been playing a long time, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh, I know that spell. I know that creature. I know what this is going on. I know what class that person is. And the whole time I'm like, I can't wait and go play a game again soon, right away, right now. I mean, as soon as the movie's over, I'm ready to go play. So it felt very true to the game, and anyone who's going to be going to the movie, and evaluating it on, does this represent the game? I believe that yes. I mean, this would be the game through the player's mind. Obviously, the players, in most cases, are not traveling to medieval castles and acting this out. I mean, they could. There's nothing wrong with that, but I'm saying that this is the kind of thing that would go through your mind as you're playing. This is how you would see, as a player, the things unravel, or not unravel, unveil, roll out as they're happening. I mean, great stuff. The fifth thing that I felt was a great point was that there were so many familiar things in the game. I kind of already mentioned that because it felt like a game of D&D, but it was fun. It was fun to see an owlbear. It was fun to see a mimic. All those things we have in the game, it was really great to see those as part of the movie. All right, and then my final point was it was funny.
Were you killed in battle?
Yes.
Great. 4 more questions, right?
Yes.
No, that wasn't for you. Did that count as a question?
Yes.
Only answer when I talk to you, okay?
Yes.
Why did you say okay at the end of that?
I didn't.
I laughed so much during it. Mostly Michelle Rodriguez did an amazing job as the barbarian. I loved her character. She was hilarious. I'm kind of surprised that they're able to keep their faces straight for some of the stuff. Totally enjoyed it. It was very light, a lot of action, a lot of fun, jokes and everything to go with it. Just an excellent movie. Okay, and then what I think that sets this movie apart from a lot of the movies that are out there right now are the action scenes. And I'm not a huge fan of action scenes. I mean, I like a good action scene, but I feel that Hollywood has really gotten to the point where the majority of the movie is action scenes and less is done with plot and characterization. And I feel that that's really where the heart of all great stories are. But if you're going to do an action scene, make it stand out. Make it different. Make it not the same thing we've seen 100 times in similar movies. And I feel that in this film, they have accomplished that. So the action scenes, the fights, and what they're doing, they've put some twists in there, and we see some surprising results, and that made it really enjoyable. On the negative side, I did feel it was a little long in the middle. There was a point where I was kind of like, I don't know, is this a long movie? I believe it is. I think it's like 2.5 hours. So my perception was correct. This did feel like a longer movie because it is a longer movie. That being said, I still enjoyed it. I enjoyed every minute of it. And I think you will too. All right, and then another minor point is some of the story developments, most of them are kind of predictable. I mean, you can kind of see that coming from a mile away, right? And you can get away with that on occasion. If it's enjoyable, if you're enjoying the movie and you like it, it's kind of refreshing to see the expected to have a payoff because you're expecting that to happen, and then when it does happen, you like it. And I feel that this falls into that category. Some movies, you're left and you're like, oh, that was so dreary. I saw this coming, an hour ago. We could have saved an hour by just jumping to this point. But these are done well, so I think it's acceptable. All right, and so for my rating, I am going to give Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves 5 movie bucks. I loved it. I'm planning on seeing it again. My wife, who is not a moviegoer, she likes to watch movies at home. When I got back, she's like, you went without me? And yes, but I'm willing to go with you. And so she does actually want to go to the theater and see this. So I think this is a tremendous statement for the movie because it is drawing the attention of people who, at least in the case of my wife, normally don't like to go out to the theater to watch their movies. They like the comfort of their home. But my wife is excited to go and see this, and I know that she is really going to enjoy it. All right. There we go. That's it for my review of Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves. I highly recommend you see it. Bye.